Right. I remember meeting Erika. Charlie and I were in New York for something, one or another, and he was falling for her hard, but he wanted to play it cool. So he's like, come meet her at Del Frisco's in New York City.
I remember meeting Erika at Del Frisco's.
And I came there and she was just lovely. She was genuinely such a nice person. And I was like, Charlie, just go for it. Just go for it. And he did go for it.
Every strategic effort Erika Kirk has undertaken to rehabilitate her public reputation and silence the mounting controversy surrounding her narrative has ultimately produced the opposite effect. What was intended to de-escalate tensions has instead intensified scrutiny, with the current spotlight on her burning brighter than at any previous moment in this unfolding saga. Sources continue to emerge, offering specific, unfiltered details that only amplify the drama, providing the public with more material to analyze, question, and debate. Attention is now sharply focused on alleged ties reportedly linking Erika directly to Jeffrey Epstein's network, as well as whispered connections to circumstances surrounding her late husband's case. This development has become the central topic of discussion. On April 29, Erika attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner, an event also attended by FBI Director Kash Patel. Insiders present describe Erika as visibly relaxed and warm toward Patel, smiling frequently, maintaining close physical proximity, and appearing genuinely at ease in his company. When unexpected gunshots reportedly erupted inside the venue, Patel allegedly intervened swiftly, personally escorting Erika to safety. This detail carries significant weight, considering Patel is the official leading the federal investigation into the case involving Charlie Kirk's death. When a political activist is fatally shot on a college campus, the public reasonably expects the FBI to respond with immediate, unwavering action, no delays, no distractions. However, serious allegations now suggest that in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination at Utah University, the FBI's elite shooting reconstruction team experienced delays arriving at the scene. Sources indicate this was not due to logistical unreadiness, but rather a pilot shortage allegedly connected to Director Patel's personal use of Bureau aircraft. The case has seen minimal public progress, leaving countless individuals waiting for answers while developments remained frustratingly and suspiciously quiet for an extended period. Additional details continue to surface, raising eyebrows across multiple circles. Reports indicate the reconstruction team's delayed arrival on September 9 has been directly linked to Kash Patel by sources familiar with the timeline. Yet what resonates most loudly with observers is Erika's reportedly consistent demeanor toward Patel. Rather than pressing for updates, expressing visible frustration, or demanding accountability regarding the stalled progress in her husband's case, sources claim Erika has maintained consistently friendly, cordial, and composed interactions with him. This persists despite earlier headlines suggesting Patel's colleagues had expressed concerns about episodes of excessive drinking and unexplained absences from his official duties. Multiple journalists and independent observers physically present at the dinner described the dynamic between Erika and Patel as notably unsettling, given the broader context. Considering public discourse surrounding Patel's performance as FBI director and the conspicuous lack of meaningful breakthroughs in the Charlie Kirk investigation, many anticipated seeing tension, urgency, or at least visible concern from the woman publicly advocating for justice. Instead, witnesses reported smiles and comfortable, warm energy, a contrast that many found difficult to reconcile rationally. This dissonance struck observers forcefully, particularly when juxtaposed with a stark and very public inconsistency. Some are now openly questioning how Erika can publicly present herself as someone who has forgiven the individual she alleges took Charlie's life, while simultaneously holding firmly to grievances regarding a comedy skit by Dusky. One situation concerns justice for a murdered spouse, the other involves a comedian's impersonation. The perception that she appears more visibly affected by the comedy clip than by alleged investigative shortcomings has not gone unnoticed, and critics are highlighting this contrast explicitly and repeatedly. Candace Owens then entered the conversation, escalating tensions to a new level by claiming the reported incident at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was staged. She elaborated that cameras appeared suspiciously well positioned to capture Erika exiting the event in visible tears, suggesting the moment was carefully orchestrated rather than a spontaneous reaction to a frightening situation. This claim spread rapidly, injecting significant new tension into an already volatile situation that was struggling to contain itself even before Owens weighed in. Reports subsequently indicated the matter was taken seriously at high levels, with a pointed response posted that referenced Owens directly. The response featured an edited image portraying her as a Time magazine Person of the Year, accompanied by a caption implying her credibility and standing had declined dramatically. While this response remains unverified through official channels, the fallout from the exchange continues to intensify, with media and online communities debating fervently. Some question every visible move Erika makes, while others caution against reckless judgments based on speculation rather than confirmed evidence. Clips from the dinner continue circulating endlessly, with viewers analyzing every interaction frame by frame, her specific exchanges, the timing of her departure, visible emotions as she left, and the individuals surrounding her at each moment. All of it is being scrutinized as though it were evidence in an active investigation. Meanwhile, commentators actively debate whether the situation is being deliberately amplified for attention and engagement, or whether significant, undisclosed details remain beneath the surface. Simultaneously, pressure mounts on officials to provide genuine clarity regarding the investigation tied to Charlie's case, as public patience has largely evaporated after prolonged waits for answers. Until concrete, verifiable information is officially confirmed, the noise surrounding this story is not merely sustaining itself, it is growing louder and more organized daily. Online rhetoric has also sharpened considerably, with some critics launching harsh personal attacks on Erika's intelligence and character, while others push back forcefully, arguing such attacks undermine the credibility of legitimate questions that deserve thoughtful consideration. Additional controversy has emerged around Candace Owens, with reports suggesting Laura Loomer may have been connected to the widely circulated post about Owens. Sources indicate Loomer made significant remarks about Owens, including personal attacks and offensive comments that added further heat to an already explosive, multi-front conflict. The back and forth among these public figures is genuinely messy, drawing more personalities into the spotlight regardless of whether they sought that attention. While Loomer has aggressively challenged Owens on multiple fronts, other voices, including Annika Spar and Baron Coleman, have offered perspectives criticizing not just the interpersonal drama, but what they describe as heavy-handed and transparent PR management surrounding Erika's public image. They question the authenticity and consistency of the narrative being constructed around her, and criticism from voices not obviously partisan in this conflict carries distinct weight. Questions are also intensifying around specific statements Erika allegedly made during a private meeting with major Piusa donors, where she reportedly told attendees that Charlie had explicitly communicated he wanted her to assume leadership if anything ever happened to him. This is an enormous and consequential claim, the kind specifically designed to establish unquestionable legitimacy and preempt questions about succession. However, critics highlight a difficult-to-dismiss point. Charlie Kirk was known for being extraordinarily detailed, organized, and deliberate in managing his organization and legacy. For someone of that operational specificity, the complete absence of clear, documented proof of such a definitive directive represents a gap that grows more significant, not less, with each examination. People are demanding receipts, not second-hand accounts, not remembered conversations, but actual verifiable documentation, and that demand shows no signs of fading. The pressure has reached a genuinely new level, with critics scrutinizing every statement connected to Erika with increasing intensity and focus. Every interview, past clip, and documented connection is being re-examined through a lens of deep skepticism. The more people look, the more questions seem to surface rather than resolve, and that pattern itself is becoming a significant part of the story. Supporters continue to stand firm, insisting Erika is being unfairly targeted and that scrutiny has crossed from legitimate accountability into what appears to be a coordinated personal campaign. However, a large and growing portion of the audience remains unconvinced, demanding clear, documented, independently verifiable answers before accepting any version of the official narrative. Compounding the difficulty is the speed at which the narrative keeps shifting beneath everyone involved. One moment, the dominant conversation centers on loyalty, legacy, and honoring what Charlie built. The next, it pivots entirely to trust, transparency, and accountability. This constant switching keeps all parties off balance and on edge, ensuring no single version of the story fully consolidates before a new angle arrives to complicate it further. The impact is now affecting the organization itself in ways increasingly difficult to contain or dismiss. Reports suggest Piusa has struggled to maintain donor support, with some significant contributors stepping back from previous levels of financial commitment. Internal tensions are reportedly becoming harder to manage behind closed doors. Staff members and longtime team leaders are said to be departing their roles, and multiple universities are reportedly choosing to create distance between their chapters and the central organization. Many observers, both inside and outside, point directly at the ongoing and intensifying controversy around Erika as the primary driving force behind these developments. Yet the conversation has widened substantially beyond Erika's personal public image. It now encompasses larger questions about organizational leadership, institutional transparency, and the kind of trust that takes years to build and can shatter remarkably quickly when expected answers fail to materialize. Critics are raising questions about past associations and business connections tied to individuals in Erika's circle, requesting clarity about relationships and arrangements that have never been adequately explained publicly. None of these specific claims have been fully and independently confirmed, but they are spreading with real velocity, adding compounding pressure to a situation already operating at maximum intensity. At the center of everything is a growing and very specific perception problem that commentators across the spectrum are identifying consistently. This is less about any single isolated issue and more about an overall accumulating pattern of inconsistency that is making even previously loyal supporters genuinely uneasy. Until clear and satisfying answers are provided and the most pressing concerns are addressed directly and specifically, the uncertainty will not resolve itself. It will continue building. The questions gaining the most traction right now concern whether TPUSA can actually recover meaningful credibility and organizational momentum from this sustained wave of doubt and scrutiny, or whether this specific period represents the moment when quietly destabilizing forces behind the scenes finally become impossible to hold together publicly. Analysts and commentators remain sharply divided. Some argue this is a rough but manageable patch that organizations of this size and institutional depth can navigate successfully. Others contend the damage to credibility has already reached a threshold that will take an extraordinarily long time to repair, even under the best possible circumstances moving forward. What is absolutely clear, regardless of which perspective proves more accurate, is that the pressure is not easing in any visible way. Every public appearance, every new statement, every organizational decision is being watched with an intensity that shows no signs of diminishing. Supporters are calling for patience and basic fairness in how the situation is evaluated. Critics are doubling down on demands for accountability that is specific, documented, and verifiable rather than broadly asserted. That fundamental clash is keeping everything heated at a level that makes any near-term resolution extremely difficult to imagine. When people discuss Erika now, the conversation is no longer contained to one specific issue or incident. They are pointing to what critics describe as a web of overlapping associations and connections that raises broader, more serious questions about how certain relationships were formed and what they were built around. Her time with the Corcoran Group keeps resurfacing, with specific questions being raised about her role there and references to widely discussed reports about the company's past connections. None of this directly establishes wrongdoing, but the questions keep coming from multiple independent directions. Broader claims about different networks and figures are circulating online as people attempt to connect dots that have not been clearly or independently proven. Rumors about her past work in modeling spaces and who she may have crossed paths with during that period continue circulating, though again, no verified evidence supporting the more extreme versions of those claims has been publicly presented. Even more serious accusations involving specific individuals she allegedly encountered or worked alongside are being actively discussed online, and those claims remain firmly in the territory of unconfirmed and heavily contested. Allegations that responsible discussion requires treating as exactly that, unverified. Everything is being pulled together simultaneously into one massive, sprawling narrative. The divide between people who believe voices like Candace are exposing something genuinely important and people who believe the entire situation is being dramatically exaggerated is growing sharper, not narrower, with every new development. Supporters insist this has crossed entirely into character assassination territory, pointing out that enormous amounts of what is actively being shared and amplified is based on rumors, secondhand accounts, and unverified claims being treated as established fact. Critics insist that the volume and consistency of questions from such a wide variety of independent sources means something real is worth investigating, and they are absolutely not backing down from that position. What makes all of it even more intense and harder to manage is the pure speed at which everything is spreading. Clips, posts, and detailed breakdowns are going viral within minutes of publication. Once something is out there at that speed and scale, pulling it back or meaningfully correcting it becomes essentially impossible. That velocity is making it genuinely difficult for verified facts to catch up to rapidly spreading claims. The gap between what can be confirmed and what is being presented as meaningful evidence is widening at a pace that should concern everyone who values accuracy in high-stakes public conversations. Right now, the situation feels like it is approaching a genuine breaking point. Whatever comes next has real potential to completely and permanently shift how the entire story is ultimately understood and remembered. Online comments are only adding more accelerant, with some voices going all in, describing Erika in harsh and unverified terms and pushing claims about hidden connections and backgrounds that have zero confirmed evidentiary foundation. Others are pointing to family history and past associations, trying to construct a larger picture that connects everything into one coherent and damning narrative. While critics argue those claims are being stretched far beyond what any available evidence can actually support. Lifestyle criticism has also entered the conversation heavily, with people questioning the visible gap between the image Erika projects publicly and the situation she describes herself as navigating. Supporters push back specifically, arguing that appearances can be genuinely misleading and that assumptions built on visual presentation are being applied with a speed and confidence that the facts don't actually support. At this point, the comments sections surrounding this story have transformed into a genuine battleground of competing and often irreconcilable opinions, with everyone operating from a different version of what is actually happening and what it actually means. So, now it comes directly down to you. What do you actually think about Erika Kirk and where this entire situation is heading? Are the questions being raised legitimate and deserving of real answers? Or has speculation run so far ahead of evidence that the conversation has lost its grounding in anything verifiable? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, share this video, and stay locked in, because the next development in this story might take everything even further than anyone currently expects.